Welcome to Tablenauts. My name is Max.
I'm Doolin.
Welcome to Tablenauts. My name is Max.
I'm Doolin. Holy cow! 2 in a row. What is this life?
Welcome to Tablenauts. My name is Max.
I'm Doolin.
I'm Kenny.
And this is Honor's End, IV Studios' newest board game, which is live now on Kickstarter. But should you back it? We are here to tell you, or in Doolin's case, try to tell you, everything about Honor's End and how we got along with it in our first few plays. So, Kenny, what is this game?
So Honor's End is a deck building game with a pretty strong campaign element. You're basically going to get started with a hand of cards, and you play cooperatively with your group, or you can play it solo. And you're going to be going through playing out your cards kind of like in a solitaire fashion almost.
If you've played Moonrakers, it's very similar to the way that game flows.
It's pretty similar. And the basic idea is you're going to be fighting a few bosses for each story of the chapter. And you're trying to do enough damage while adding cards to your deck and upgrading and all that. Yeah. So it's kind of a typical deck building game, but it does have that pretty strong story element, which I think is pretty cool. So
yeah, absolutely agreed. And I think it's worth mentioning early on in this video that if you heard deck builder and you are coming from something like a traditional deck builder, yeah, this is not that.
It's much more of like a tactical deck builder.
Exactly.
Like it's like you kind of get what you get, and you have to try to build the strategy around that. It's harder to tailor a specific strategy straight from the get-go.
Essentially every round you are trying to do damage to whatever boss you're fighting and also move up to particular tracks that you move up by playing cards. When you move up those tracks, you get to choose a reward, and those rewards can be things like removing danger dice from your pool, or they can be things like adding in equipment, allies, and other action cards to your deck. When you do that, the lead player will draw X amount of cards, where X equals the number of players in the game plus 1. So for example, Kenny's the lead player. He's going to draw 4 cards. He picks, passes to Doolin. Doolin picks, passes to me. And so I have a selection of 2 cards. So your choice is limited. But like Kenny said, it's much more tactical experience rather than something where you're like planning out super far ahead and you know exactly what I'm going to do with this card. It's not that.
Yeah, I mean, your consideration wasn't in like what cards you're adding to your deck, but like your consideration was like taking a massive turn and just comboing everything off each other, which I think is like the real joy in the game. It's just like, because it is kind of, it comes to heads. Like there's the portion like where you're kind of helping each other out, but there's a portion where it's very much like heads down. How do we make these cards work and kind of get the most out of it? Yeah,
and that could be a negative part of the game, because later in this most recent play, you mentioned that my turns were taking a lot longer than everyone else's, which is very true. I won't deny that. But it was genuinely, I was cycling my entire deck because of the symbols that I had that were able to combo off of one another. And so I was just able to draw, discard, draw, move this up, draw, do this damage, draw. And it was nuts and very fun for me. But admittedly, Kenny may have been finished with his turn and sitting there watching me for 60 seconds while I math out my turn. So that, for the person playing it can be really fun, and that's kind of what you want. You want to get those decks where everything's cooking. Yeah. But at the same time, it can slow the game down a bit.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for everyone every turn.
No.
Like, I definitely had some dud turns where I'm like, well, I played 5 cards. Okay.
However, if you care about, like, the co-op play and you're winning, like I said this the first time we played this, in Moonrakers, as I watch somebody do a crazy combo heavy turn where I'm just kind of sitting here, I'm just filled with dread. And I'm like, they're going to do something crazy cool.
That's true, yeah.
Whereas in this game, it's like I'm watching Max throw out 5 rows of cards, and I'm like, well, he's going to help us quite a bit this turn.
True,
so I'm not that worried. Like, it's almost, it turns that on its head. I'm not filled with dread. I'm like, okay, he's going to do something really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. So if you care about that, like, your teammates doing well, it's like, well, I don't really care. Like, as long as he does something good with it, and it's not, Max cycled his whole deck, but he did 5 damage. Like, come on. Like, what did you do that for? But yeah.
I feel like this game really works well in a slightly weird cooperative way, because it is almost solitaire at times where you're staring down at your tableau, but like the cooperation isn't in like, I need you to do this so I can do this. It's just, how can we help each other?
Yeah.
And so it's less like strategy based where you're like, Doolin, I really need you to do this. Do you have a card that is capable of this?
Yeah.
And it's more just like, Doolin, draw a card. And sometimes that's like, it doesn't really help. And sometimes that's game changing and hand saving when you don't have something that you need. And, you know, allowing people to draw cards or get these wild dice or re-roll things or whatever is all very impactful, but it's not something where you're sitting there like really strategically thinking with one another.
Yeah.
It's more of just a free-for-all frenzy of cooperation.
And I would say, like, if you're looking for a game that is heavy co-op, this is maybe lighter on that.
Definitely.
However, there still are things like the cards that people can spin at the beginning of their turn, which feels like a legit gift because they're giving up a card with its powers to allow everybody else to do something at the table. There is like ways to actually affect each other that I think you would miss if you played solo.
Yes, absolutely agree.
Because you've played solo, correct?
Yeah, and I think like solo is okay. Like I think like you do miss out on the cards that basically give you group effects. It's kind of supplemented by like a Squire deck that basically just gives you a little bonus each round. But I do think it kind of takes a bit longer solo because you are, I don't know, the game does scale based on player count, but I felt like playing solo did take longer because I think I was just thinking more on my turns instead of just kind of going with the flow. Since I know like it all kind of depended on me instead of like I know Max could just solo it basically himself. So
it was interesting. Do you know how sometimes you are like you're talking to yourself? I don't know if you guys do this. I do this where I'll talk to myself on like a car ride up and it's like kind of scripting out like the things I want to say about this game. And on the way up, I was like, you know, I want to talk about this note and how, you know, it doesn't and then this second play kind of changed everything that I was going to say, because this second play really peeled back some of the game for me and kind of like showed what it can do. Because in the first play, I really did feel like I was kind of just playing the cards that came to me. And whether because I got lucky or because I had played it already and kind of knew what I was looking for, I was really able to actually kind of fine-tune my deck here. And I know I mentioned earlier that it's not Dominion-esque deck building. It's not anything like that where you're really fine-tuning it. But I was like, I want blue symbols and I want to keep browns that I can use for tucking. And like that's what I focused on and it paid off dividends.
Yeah, I wonder if that's due to player count possibly, because we played 4 last time, and because the way you draw cards from rewards, like you kind of get a more reduced pool when you're playing with the bigger player counts, and you know you're not getting first pick as often.
Sure, yeah.
In a 4-player game, so because I think like I felt the same way. I was actually able to build like a deck that played off like a few key cards and did like really big damage sometimes when they all kind of came out together and synergized. So I had the same kind of feel as well. But yeah, I just wonder if it's maybe it's a lucky play or maybe at 2 or 3 you're gonna have more options to opportunity to build.
Or we're getting smarter.
We're getting better. That's what I'm going to choose to believe. So obviously this is a campaign game. Now you can do like one-shot boss battling here. I think that the draw, for me at least, does come in part with the campaign. What did you guys think about the story? Because this isn't, at least from what we've seen, we've only seen 2 chapters. This isn't some incredibly like, you know, I'm thinking like Oathsworn or something like that. Though I do think this is going to have a foreteller app and stuff like that, which I'm really anxious to see. But like, I thought it was different and in a good way for me, because I don't know about you guys, I really liked the like script piece. Essentially, the storybook is a script, like a play. And we each picked our characters and we were passing the book around, kind of reading in our own voices, narrating the story happening around us. And, you know, as much as, you know, professional voice actors would do a better job than we did, and listening to a foreteller app, you're much more engaged when your friends are speaking and you're reading from a script. And I was always a theater kid, so it spoke to me, but I really like that aspect of it. I've not seen it done in any other games, but I thought it was really cool.
I like too that like it would always have the little guides too, where like in parentheses, in anguish, or loudly exclaimed, or in a hushed tone, like type of thing. It was neat. I like that a lot.
Yeah, they even do like interior, exterior shots and kind of set up like, you know, the location and stuff. So I thought it really does read like, you know, a script from a play or something. So I like it a lot as well. Like I think it just helps push people to like make goofy voices like Dylan or just his regular voice right now.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it was fun. The story itself is interesting. Like, I think we only played the first 2 chapters, and there's only 3 chapters in the kind of like the prototype we got. But you can kind of tell where the story's going, and it's interesting. And I think it's a bit more like, it feels like a story that has something to say. So far, like, I'll be interesting to see how it actually winds up. But I do appreciate that it's not just like a vapid
generic fantasy.
story.
Yeah, it seems like there's a little more to it.
Yeah.
Kenny, what do you think about the difficulty that's posed to us?
I don't know. Like, this last game was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think like you said, like both of us, I think all 3 of us like built like strong decks. Like, do you feel like you built a better deck too this time?
I probably played better the first round. However, like, I don't know. I don't want to judge it too harshly because we only played the prologue in chapter 1.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that it would ramp up, but it did feel very easy so far.
Yeah, so far. I guess we'll just have to see. Like, since it is prototype phase, I'm sure it's something they could fine tune and make more difficult based off feedback. But
on the last turn, I just said I don't even want to look at my hand. I want all the danger dice and just see if I can deal with it.
yeah,
I will say, our first play with 4 players, we did run the risk of like 2 more turns.
true. Yeah,
Ending. Like, it was this almost got to the very top, which would mean death.
Yeah.
So I think that, I don't know, honor has never really been an issue. We've never gotten even.
Honor's never been a problem.
But we've almost run out of time, which I'm glad that there's multiple ways to lose the game.
Agreed. But of all the ways to lose, running out of time is the least satisfying, I think. It's like, we just didn't do it in 10 turns. Oh, well. Like, I know that in that first play, there was a little bit more danger because of the time track, but you don't really feel that because it's a time track. It's not like you're close to death. It's just like, I don't know, can we do the damage in time? So I would like to see more difficulty personally. I like my co-op games to be pretty tough. I want to lose sometimes. I want to have consequences, negative consequences to us failing.
Like maybe the story
exactly a branch.
I would love to see games do that instead
of you failed, try again.
Yeah. I think that is how this game approaches it. If you fail, just do it again.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see something else there, but again, this is all prototype, only initial impressions, and of course, prototype components that you're seeing on the table, which is an Ivy Studios game, is basically production. So this is Honor's End. There's quite a lot going on, but we hope that you can at least kind of get a gist for what it is and whether you think you'll like it. But from us here, now's the time to rate it and rank it amongst the IV Studios favorites. Now, I think at this point in time, we're only going to compare big box games, right? We do have Time to Panic, Pillars of Fate, Moonroller, stuff like that, but let's just let's just compare big box games. So I'm here to say this is the best IV Studios cooperative game out there. It is absolutely number 1. It's their first foray, really, into a full cooperative game outside of their small box game, Time to Panic.
So the question is, where does it rank among the other IV games? And probably for me, it's probably in the middle of the pack. I do think I think I probably like it better than Moonrakers, because I do like the cooperative aspect of it. And I am interested in the story and seeing where it goes. No, that's not to say I'm never playing Moonrakers again. But like, this is kind of more approachable and easier to teach because it is cooperative, and you still have the crunchy bit of like, playing out your cards, and I really enjoy that puzzle. Even though if it is a bit heads down in solitaire, so yeah, it's probably middle of the pack for me. I would keep playing it for sure, and yeah, I enjoyed it for sure.
I do feel like this is a tougher one to even talk amongst the other. Like, you kind of can split them into 3 things. They're big box interaction not Euro, but interaction competitive games. They're small box games, and now they're big box cooperative game, of which it is sitting by itself. I just feel like they're so different in that, like, for me, Honor's End is towards the lower end of Ivy Studios games. But I love Ivy Studios games. And why I've grown to love Ivy Studios games, because I feel like for us, they are such a perfect mesh of theme, gameplay, interaction for our group in particular.
Yeah, 100%.
And this is lesser than when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I think Honor's End is really good. I would love to play it. I think of all the Ivy Studios games, it is the only one I could realistically see me playing either solo or with my wife. just sitting down and enjoying the story, right? Cooperating and enjoying the story. There's something to this that there's not in another game. That said, it's not got the same level of interaction heavy, like guessing, meanness, all the things that I've kind of come to know and love from their other games. And for that alone, it's not anywhere near my favorites. But I like all the Ivy Studios games. This just happens to not be, top of the tops for me.
Yeah, I am in that, I think, 5 spot. Oh my gosh. Out of 8.
Yeah.
So, like right now, obviously Veil Fate, but then the more I've thought about it, Realm of Reckoning is number 2. 3's Tend, and then 4 is Brink.
He just knows him. Wow.
He does this all the time. Have you seen his recent video? The Dooley decimal system?
But those 4 are in contention for my top 50. Like,
right.
I could have 4 Ivy Studios games in my top 50 and I wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that this is right underneath all of that doesn't detract from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would still give this, like, a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Like, it's a great co-op that I think is not, like, too heavy. But it's going to be good for gamers and non-gamers. Like, I think this is really approachable, and if you have a problem with Moonrakers at your table, like, this might be the answer.
It's
right?
true. Yeah.
So
it was really easy to pick up too. It's like easy to teach and
Very.
kind of get into.
But if I'm playing us 3, I want to be mean in Moonrakers. Like, that's I want.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I want to get tense in each other's faces.
Imagine if Moonrakers had a script though.
See, I really like that. I know. I really like the script.
Well, it's Moonrakers does have that app where like you can play kind of like a story.
Yeah.
So
we need to try the app.
Kind of does.
I mean, they have good apps.
That is true.
At least we knew
some of the best.
Like one thing to just kind of do the Moonrakers comparison, like they're obviously very different games, but like Moonrakers I think kind of works better at higher player count. Like I think like maybe 4 to 5.
Yes, for sure.
Well,
yeah.
I think this one's the sweet spot's kind of probably be 2 or 3.
I'd agree with that.
So I think like that also is going to be a pretty good differentiator. If you like both, they both still have a spot in the collection.
True.
Probably. Yeah.
Very good point. That's Honor's End. So make sure you check it out on Kickstarter. Hopefully what we were able to tell you about the game today will give you a good bit of insight and determine whether you want to look into it more in the future. But it's on Kickstarter right now. The link is in the description of this video. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for accidentally tuning in to another Tablenauts YouTube video. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Are you a board gamer?
You should have done this.
Okay.
Salt Bay.